Welcome back. It's a story you'll see only on NBC 26. John Mino joins us now on set with a special report on women in combat. And John, this is a woman you actually know well.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I made a couple of trips to Iraq and Afghanistan, and the one thing I always try to get across to people, it's so underrated and underreported how many women serve overseas in combat zones. Now, there's an official rule, or at least there was an official rule. You know, it's an all-time high as far as the number of women in combat, but the rule was they could not serve on the front lines in a combat unit. Well, that's all changing, but to women such as DePere's Kristy Lanen, a two-time Iraq vet, front lines really not unfamiliar territory. After serving 2 tours deep in Iraq and 1 in Kosovo, Kristy Lanen knows all about life in a war zone.
As far as being over there, you get used to living over there. You get used to the poor conditions. You get used to, cold food and living in tents and all that kind of stuff.
Her job at the 432nd Civil Affairs Battalion required constant travel outside the relative safety of her home base. Outside the wire, basically enemy territory. Which makes the controversy over women on the front lines, in her eyes, a little ironic.
Most funny to me because what we say define as the front lines,
right,
it's become a very gray area.
Right.
In the last 10 years with Iraq and Afghanistan, females have been out there every day on a regular basis. They're going outside the wire. And anytime you leave the wire, anytime you go off base, you're potentially in harm's way.
We should have more than enough room for everybody.
Critics cite potential problems associated with males and females working this closely together. Lanen disagrees.
Very different what people think. People think, well, you can't live together. You can't. What are you going to do with hygiene? What are you going to do with living conditions?
Yeah.
Very different. Even my first tour, when I served with an all-male Marine unit,
right,
it was an adjustment at first.
Sure.
I had never worked with females before. But you figure it out so fast. You adjust to it. And when you actually are on the same team together, it doesn't make a difference.
No matter the mission, females in a unit can provide a resource just not possible for men in the delicate balance of the Middle East.
By being over in their culture, the Muslim culture, their women are not allowed to speak to other males.
Right.
So especially you have American males going over there, and we'd go out there, even going on patrols. Women would come up to us, and they have intel to give. It's not just creating this relationship, but they have stuff that they can provide to us.
Did you ever have to bite your tongue when you came back if somebody said, oh, well, you're a woman, you didn't really see combat?
Yes, especially when I have people say, well, did you carry a gun out there? So yes, absolutely, quite a bit.
I have all the respect in the world for the females that serve our country over there. It's incredible what they do. And that's the thing, there is no real front lines. It's blurry. Whenever you're outside the wire, as Kristy said, you're in hostile territory, and they do a remarkable job. So I think the decision that's been made in regards to them now being allowed to serve in the front lines, I think it kind of does a disservice to so many of the women that are serving and have served over there in hostile situations.
Yeah, I think that's so true. What an incredible story.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, John.